something I've noticed in modern horror and just modern fiction in general, and I think part of this comes with the Five Nights at Freddy's effect and what's the word? Streaming, and the fact that so many of these shows, they have like 10 episode seasons, and so they don't even know if they're going to be able to continue the show, so they have to make it seem super mysterious and get people super invested in it. So they're like, okay, you have to let us keep making this if you want to find out the mystery. But the people making it, I don't think they know the mystery yet. We see this in Poppy Playtime, and the fact that it keeps getting more and more complicated, and they keep adding characters that just never existed. Like, Markiplier was like, who is this Giblet? Like, oh yes, we all know Giblet. Because to understand Poppy Playtime, you have to, go looking for it outside of the game, which is so bullshit. You know, Five Nights at Freddy's, its flaw was when Scott Kramer started explaining everything. My friend says, post Pizzeria Simulator isn't really because it was clear that this story was there. Sure, there was a lot of long, convoluted books and all this shit. And it's just about milking the IP and getting people, Poppy Playtime. Are you guys forgetting they had NFTs to learn more about the lore? Because I was watching Dan and Phil play and I was like, I don't understand what the fuck any of this is about. They don't explain it in the game. And so I went looking for it because I was like, I'm just curious. I want to understand. And they had lore. They had lore and NFTs. And this isn't even a crazy thing for me to say, my criticism of this game now, because Markiplier himself is fucking sick and tired of Poppy Playtime. And he's Markiplier. I just have pronouns, which makes my opinion that much more important. My Teller's professor, he pisses me off. He said that I have to work on just saying whatever comes out of my mouth when it comes to telling a story, and I'm like, no, that is what the reblog button was for. If I wanted to say the same thing over and over again, I would reblog my post over and over again, but I'm a blogger. Everything I say, it's own individual work of art. Everything I say is worth being typed up into a blog post and posted. So if I said everything the exact same way every time, I wouldn't have anything to blog about. Instead, I'm always just talking about the same stuff. I'm always just talking about the same stuff all the time, but in completely different ways that you're just like, whoa, I never thought of it that way. Some of the most interesting things about me are the things that I don't even realize are that weird. Like what I was saying, how I got lost in the woods, and I was like, and I was wearing my indoor glasses. People were just like, indoor glasses? And I was like, I think it's funny if I don't explain. The explanation is, so when I got hit by a car, my glasses got fucked up, and I tried to save them, but I ended up getting to put it on insurance. One of the few things I got. That is a whole other thing. It was on my college campus. I got hit by a car on a college campus because they had a blues. And then they fired me from my job. But I was like, okay, this is insurance. I'm gonna get myself 2 pairs of glasses because mine tend to get fucked up. These glasses are fucked up. My friend stepped on them, which warped them to where they kept falling off my face. And then I guess something else happened to where I think I put stuff on top of them or sat on them, and then it bent them in a way that made them stop doing that. But my glasses do be falling off my face. But that's normal. But yeah, I was like, okay, so I'll have that pair, and then I'll also have a pair of indoor glasses. And then, ironically, they were lost in the woods. But honestly, I'm glad I lost those instead of these, because these are my transgender glasses, my transition. I still did not clean these well. Yeah. I just say whatever, and for my story for the end of semester showcase, I'm going to talk about how I became an internet person. Shit, my laptop became unplugged. I'm going to talk about how I became an internet person, because that's not something that any of these theater bitches have done. They don't got my weirdness. They all hated me for how weird I was, but I saw the value in myself. I became a blogger. Everybody's like, I've never met anybody like you, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna blog about it, because I see things through a unique lens. I'm generally unaware of my surroundings, but when I pay attention, I'm aware of things people don't even know exist. I'm more of a Sean Spencer than Adrian Monk. I'm just so carefree and whimsical, and also, Sean Spencer is my role model, but I hate it when people are mean to Monk. I'm just like, guys, what did I step on? Oh. My old ID from when I worked at my school. Campus services. I still have it because they fired me really sketchily. They just sent me an email telling me I won't be returning. So I still have my badge, my name tag. Put your badge on my desk. I still got my name tag. And the shirt I wore as a tour guide made me look real preppy. But they just told me I wouldn't be returning, and I know it's because I made such a big fuss to the school about being hit by a car, because they didn't tell me why they were firing me, and I don't really think it went through a bunch of super official things if they just completely forgot, because they specifically said when we left we would have to be giving them back. So, but there's some shit I do to get back at them in little ways by just living my life. But I blog about that on Tumblr. Tumblr. I love being a blogger. I love blogging on Tumblr. And some people just don't get that. Some people just don't get that. Some people just don't get that. Some people just don't get me. Some people just... What am I doing? I have a better background than this. I kept trying to do things, and then YouTube said, we can't verify your identity. Do this to get more advanced features. And, I just kept pressing do channel history, but freaking heck. One second. Fuck, where was I? Damn it, my good background. What was I gonna say? Oh, frick, I really don't feel like making another video. I think I forgot. My laptop ran out of space, so I needed to upload all of the videos that I was saving for when these other internet people see I'm interneting over here in a way they could never internet, in a way that I will teach people to internet. But it's like I can only post a certain amount of videos per day, so I just gave up and I gave them the video of my face. It's not like I'm not already here, so I just really want to be like, fuck you. But no. I've been fighting for my life. I have been fighting for my life living in Georgia, the Bible Belt, the US of A. I grew up in mega church. That's evangelical Protestantism, except they call themselves non-denominational because they want to get children to recruit other children into the church, because the whole point of evangelicalism is you have to save the sinner. It is your personal responsibility to go and crusade and I'm not actually gonna bash my head against a wall. I'm not 16 anymore. No, that I actually didn't. It kind of hurt. I'm not 16 anymore. When I was 16, So I went to middle school with a bunch of Nazi shitbags. And then high school was more a bunch of Confederates. And all of those bitches who did nothing about it, who would just let people be racist, homophobic, say slurs. I was watching the way people acted before COVID. They would just... There was not a care in the world. But then during COVID, people started canceling everybody. But cancel culture, it doesn't make people stop being problematic. It doesn't make people woke. This was my design of the final evolution of PP before Papoopy came out. It's PPPP, which 3P actually exists. So technically it's just something you get as a little surprise sometimes. I also have Georgia man. But all of it's like these like fucking popular guys who I would just be watching say slurs. Like, there's this one guy, he fucking loved calling people fags, and people would be like, hey, what the fuck, don't say that, that's not funny. And then I was like, hey, you're a fucking homophobe, you're fucking spreading hate language, you are not funny, you are just an asshole. But then during COVID, now he has pronouns in bio and is woke. Except my junior year, which was like, the spring semester was when we all went back in traditional. And I had this astronomy teacher. He was an interesting man. First I had him for AP Physics my sophomore year. And he did not like me because I hated the class. He knew I was cheating. But he wasn't really, teachers weren't really doing anything about it because it was COVID, and we were all fucking struggling. But, he was like, what frustrates me is, like, you're smart, you could do this, you just don't. And I'm like, it's because I don't give a shit about physics. But when I had him for astronomy, for the most part, it was just stars and stuff. But when we got to the math, I would never do it. I would just draw frogs on the board. I like drawing frogs in suits. I have this painting. It's my junior year also. It's because we did, for our second little show, which we would do a show and then we would do a junior show, our spring semester. His name is the Gentleman Frogger. I gave it to some movie that someone directed for an art gallery piece. I think it's called Love and Madness. And it took me forever to get it back. It's a little snarky, but it's because I missed it. It was I'm checking on to see if my food is here. Because it is the Yowies leading up to the Ides of March. And I'm the Yowie Wizard, and I decree it an official Yowie holiday. So I was gonna eat a can of soup, but then I was like, it's a Yowie holiday. I can't do that to myself. And I'm an internet person now, which means I'm even closer to someone just saving me and going, oh, you should be able to do this literally anywhere. I had a dream last night that this guy from my, who's in my tellers troop last semester, I ran into him and I was like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I kind of just, after this, I want to become a drifter. And he was like, okay, yeah. And then I was like, yeah. I also just started watching Monk and he was just like, oh, brother. I woke up at 4:44 p.m. today. It's 5:56. I don't abide well by society's concept of time. I sleep the best whenever I'm just awake until I pass out. It's Dean Winchester, until I just pass out and then I'm actually able to dream. Having dreamless nights is stressful because a lot of the time, you get your best sleep. I don't think I have to explain it. I didn't make this. I got it when I was in ceramics when I made my ceramics. This is, we had to, oh shit. It gets kind of, I don't know. We had to make something out of multiple, can you see it? We had to make something out of multiple materials. Usually the teacher is like, oh, I don't want you guys just making the same thing for every project, but we were like, I'm fucking awesome at making frogs. This is probably my favorite. He's a frog that's fishing. So my junior year, we did Honk Junior, and I played the bullfrog, and I fucking killed it. This is my frog teacup. I don't think I can use this because I wasn't able to glaze the entire inside, but it's my frog teapot. You could call it a prototype, I guess. It's freaking, I love it. And that's Dean and Castiel. This is a reference, my friend painted that for me. It's a reference to this one painting I made. That was just it was like an HD OO, to where it was HDIs and then the O. And so that's what that is, except it's as an anime girl. This is Billy, he's wearing a Sam Girl necklace, because I found Sam Girl and Dean Girl necklaces at the mall, and so of course I took the Dean Girl and put it on Cass. Yeah, he's in this corner. This is Oswald from Gotham. I printed out a bunch of these, and then when I was a counselor at a drama camp, I brought them, and it was interesting. There's this girl. Actually, I'm not going to say that. Had an interesting nickname for me. But this is my Batman wall. Some people were like, oh, you're cutting up comics. That makes me so sad. I'm like, I got them for 99 cents in a bin. Or no, I got them as gifts for the art. I like the art. I don't care if one day there'll be collector's items. I want them on my wall. It's pretty art. And I have the hardcover of Dark Knights of Steel. And I didn't realize there was only one volume, so when my friend got me like the second edition of the paper cover, I was like, oh, it's a complete volume. So now I have this paperback comic to a comic I literally have the hardcover of. So I might as well put it on my wall. And that was the first really collage wall I did. This baby, I did this over the summer because I was like, if I'm really going to become an internet person, I need a good background. And also, I have to live as a work of art, or else I'll die.